So you're standing in your room trying to decide which game to pick up, and you've narrowed it down to two absolute titans of the RPG world. On one side, you've got Geralt of Rivia, the silver-haired monster slayer, and on the other, you've got your custom-made Tarnished wandering through the lands between. The Witcher 3 or Elden Ring? It's not an easy choice, man. Both games are certified masterpieces, but they're playing entirely different games. Today, we're going deep into what makes each of these games tick, the good, the bad, and the weird, so you can finally make a decision without regret. Let's dive in.
Here's where these two games are night and day different. The Witcher 3 is basically a Netflix show in video game form. You're playing as Geralt, a guy with actual history, actual relationships, and actual emotional baggage. The story is about finding your adopted daughter Ciri, while the entire world is literally falling apart around you. You've got Yennefer, you've got Triss, you've got all these interwoven plot threads that come together in ways that genuinely affect how the story ends. There are 36 different endings depending on the choices you made throughout the game. That's insane. The game respects your intelligence too. You're having conversations with witches, emperors, and random tavern keepers, and these conversations matter. Side quests aren't just go kill 10 wolves and bring me their fur. The Bloody Baron quest? That's literally a mini-movie about a man's regret and his family's suffering. It got people emotionally invested. Now, Elden Ring is like reading a really cool fantasy novel, but all the pages are mixed up. You're piecing together the story from NPCs who barely finish their sentences, from item descriptions, from environmental storytelling. It's vague, mysterious, and kind of genius in its own way. But it's not narrative-driven like Witcher 3. Elden Ring gives you the freedom to ignore the story entirely if you want to, and the game's totally cool with that. So if you're the type of person who cares about character development and story payoff, Witcher 3 is going to scratch that itch way better. If you like piecing together lore like a detective and don't mind a more mysterious approach, Elden Ring's got your back.
This is probably the biggest difference between these two games. Witcher 3's combat is, how do I say this? It's a bit clunky. Geralt feels like he's got weight to him, which sounds good in theory, but it also means you can't just button mash your way through encounters. You've got light attacks, heavy attacks, magic signs. Yeah, there's actually magic in Witcher 3, and it's pretty cool. And you've got to read what your enemy's doing and time your dodges. But honestly, even on Death March, the hardest difficulty, once you learn the flow, it becomes pretty manageable. The tactical side is where Witcher 3 shines, though. Before you even fight a monster, you're supposed to read about it in the bestiary. What does it fear? What oils damage it? Do you need to set a trap? Do you need to prepare a potion? That preparation phase is so satisfying. You're not just going into hack and slash, you're being a professional monster hunter. Elden Ring's combat is a completely different beast. It's demanding, it's punishing. It's the spiritual successor to Dark Souls, but with a bunch of new mechanics thrown in. You've got weapon arts, you've got a horse that actually changes how you approach combat. You've got spirit summons that can be your best friends or your worst enemies. And the boss fights? Man, they are designed to make you learn and adapt. When you finally take down a boss that's been kicking your teeth in for the past hour, that feeling is unmatched. The problem? The game doesn't always play fair. Sometimes your camera zooms in for a dramatic attack you can't see. Sometimes the hitboxes are a little questionable, and sometimes bosses have combos that go on for 10 seconds straight. But that's kind of the FromSoftware charm, right? It's punishing, but it's fair if you learn the patterns. If you want a slower, more methodical combat experience, where preparation and planning matter, Witcher 3 is your game. If you want combat that challenges you to get better at the fundamentals and requires true mechanical skill, Elden Ring is the answer.
Both of these games have massive worlds, but they feel completely different when you're actually exploring them. Witcher 3's world feels alive. You'll be riding through Valen and you'll see a bunch of guards hanging some dude. Or you'll stumble into a village where people are just living their lives, getting drunk, having arguments. The world feels like it exists whether you're there or not. You've got towns and villages, and every place has a reason to exist. The map is actually bigger than Elden Ring's, and there are fast travel points scattered around, so you're not spending 20 minutes riding from one end to the other. But here's the thing. Witcher 3 marks everything on your map, every question mark, every location, every hidden spot, which is great for completionists, but it also kind of turns exploration into a checklist. You know exactly where everything is, so the sense of discovery takes a hit. Elden Ring's approach is the complete opposite. There's no map markers telling you where to go. You see something on the horizon, you can go there. That tower in the distance, it exists and you can find it. That weird glowing thing, figure it out yourself. The sense of discovery is incredible because you're genuinely finding stuff you weren't expecting. But the world also feels emptier in some ways. There are fewer NPCs, fewer towns, and a lot of the world is just wilderness and dungeons. That said, Elden Ring makes exploration feel adventurous. You've got a horse that can double jump and you're leaping off cliffs to reach secret areas. Witcher 3 feels more grounded. You're traveling by foot or horse between these interconnected regions, but you're always kind of following established paths. If you want a world that feels lived in and filled with characters and stories, Witcher 3 wins. If you want that sense of pure discovery and adventure, Elden Ring's more your style.
Let's talk about how hard these games actually are. Witcher 3 has difficulty settings. You can play on easy, normal, hard, or Death March. Even on Death March, the hardest difficulty, if you know what you're doing, you can get through the game. Bosses are tough, but they're not impossible. The game wants you to experience the story, so it's designed to be challenging, but not frustrating. Elden Ring doesn't have difficulty settings. What it has is one base difficulty level that ranges from manageable to absolutely brutal. The common enemies are like Witcher 3 on normal difficulty. The bosses, they're like Witcher 3 on Death March on steroids. There's no scaling for players who just want to enjoy the story. You're either good enough to beat it or you're stuck. Now, Elden Ring does have spirit summons. You can basically summon NPC allies to help you in boss fights, and summons can make things significantly easier. But even with summons, some bosses are genuinely difficult. So here's the real talk. If you're looking for a game you can play at your own pace without too much frustration, Witcher 3 is more forgiving. If you enjoy challenging yourself and you're willing to die 50 times to finally beat a boss, Elden Ring's your jam. This one really comes down to what kind of gamer you are.
Graphically, Elden Ring is the more impressive game. It's got this dark fantasy aesthetic that's just stunning. The character designs are wild and creative. You'll see enemies that look like they came straight out of a nightmare, and the boss designs are some of the best in gaming. The lighting, the particle effects, the way magic looks, it's all gorgeous. Witcher 3 looks great too, especially on a high-end PC, but it's a bit more grounded visually. It's trying to be medieval fantasy, so you get horses, swords, knights, witches, stuff that makes sense in a real-world setting. The characters look good, the world looks detailed, but it's not as visually striking as Elden Ring. Where Witcher 3 actually wins is in environmental storytelling. A place feels like it has history. You can look at ruins and understand who lived there and what happened. Elden Ring's world is more alien and mysterious, which is cool, but it's also harder to connect to emotionally sometimes.
With Witcher 3, you're playing Geralt. That's it. You can customize some things about how Geralt plays, but you're still playing the same character with the same playstyle. Geralt uses his 2 swords, his magic signs, and his alchemy. You can specialize in different things, but the core experience is the same. Elden Ring is all about building your character. You want to be a magic-wielding sorcerer who sits in the back casting spells? Go ahead. You want to be a sword and shield tank? Done. You want to be a guy who swings a giant greatsword with both hands and yells a lot? The game supports that. There are probably hundreds of viable builds, and that means every playthrough of Elden Ring feels different. You'll discover new weapons, new spells, new playstyles, and want to start fresh just to try them out. This is actually a big advantage for Elden Ring in terms of replayability. Witcher 3 is a one-and-done story experience for most people. Elden Ring is designed to be played multiple times with different approaches.
Here's something people don't talk about enough: how these games pace themselves. Witcher 3 is roughly 50-100 hours, depending on how much side content you do. The game moves at a pretty consistent pace.
You're constantly getting new quests, moving through the story, and there's usually something new happening every few hours. Elden Ring can be finished in around 60 to 80 hours for most people, but here's the thing, you can get completely stuck. You'll spend 3 hours trying to beat one boss and barely make progress. Then you'll go explore somewhere else, find better equipment, level up more, and come back stronger. It's a different kind of pacing. It's more organic and less linear. So if you want a game that tells a straightforward story and moves you from point A to point B, Witcher 3 gives you that. If you're okay with a more open-ended approach where you choose your own adventure, Elden Ring's better. So, which game is actually better? Here's the honest answer. They're both incredible, but they're for different types of gamers. Choose Witcher 3 if you want a deep story with memorable characters, a more forgiving difficulty curve, a world full of NPCs and side quests, the feeling of becoming a professional monster hunter, and a complete narrative experience. Choose Elden Ring if you want challenging, rewarding combat, unlimited build variety, a sense of discovery and exploration, that high when you finally beat a boss that destroyed you, and a game you can replay dozens of times differently. Honestly, if I had to pick one, I'd say play both. Witcher 3 first for the story, then Elden Ring for the challenge. But if you can only get one, think about what matters more to you, story or gameplay mastery. Alright, that's the full breakdown. Both of these games are masterpieces in their own way, and whichever one you pick, you're not making a mistake. Drop a comment down below and let me know which team you're on, Team Witcher or Team Elden Ring. And if you found this helpful, smash that subscribe button for more gaming deep dives. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.